All right, we are live after a long time. Okay, so just an update or just context for this stream. We're going to go like continue where we left off with our ECS thing. But more importantly, I am very tired because the whole day I actually worked a lot today and I worked a lot yesterday. And tiring day, but Thursday we have to stream, I have to get back. And I also want to finish the CCS thing. It's been, and like this team, we're going to take it slow. We're going to actually like struggle with understanding this because I think like it's not something that's very natural on first go, at least to me. And I think that's okay. And I think like I'm just going to take my time to understand how this works. So yeah, we're just gonna struggle a bit in this team, but in a good way because we're learning. And the friction is what gets you to understand. But that being said, yeah, dude, chai is ready. We have rusk, and then we have a little bit aloo bhujia in case we're hungry. And of course, most important, we have nice water. So we are ready actually, and we're gonna make very chill scheme, very easygoing scheme where we're just gonna program and like have fun. Oh my god, Daksh, what's up? What's up? We are continuing with ECS actually. So great of you to join. And like we're starting where we left off last time, which I don't really remember, but yeah. Also, dude, at work today, I had two important meetings where basically I had to understand stuff or like just ask questions. And I asked such, I think I did a pretty good job at asking like questions. Even I was like, wow, if I saw the recording of those meetings and like as someone who needs context, I'm like, damn, not bad, pretty decent. So I'm happy about that. And I did so much work. I have a headache right now. So, but good day. 10 out of 10. And dude, I've also realized like now that I'm picking up pace, there are so many things I'm lacking on. I need to continue that K6PR, the second one that I have to make, which is apparently the most complex thing on that issue. And I need to basically do that. I need to continue on Pipecast because like when I finished Pipecast, which was supposed to be by July max, but maybe it might bleed into August, which is fine. When I finish Pipecast, I can basically then, what do you say, start building my split keyboard and get into that. A nice little hardware arc we might have. So split keyboard is next on the thing, and after Pipecast, there's not going to be any side projects. And I think I have enough side projects where I can just work on them and continually like improve on that. And on the side, I can like try out some AI stuff. Then I can just, I think I was going to do like some Zig thing. I don't even remember what did I say. Let me just check Twitter. I'm pretty sure I said a lot on Twitter somewhere. Let me just find that. This is the thing with planning, which is if you let's say plan a lot, then you're like let's say you plan to learn this thing over like the next 2 3 months, but after a month you're like, oh shit, I actually know more than I did before. Does my old plan still stand? Which it probably doesn't. So like you probably don't want to you know note down minute to minute what you want to like plan. I think it should be like a rough plan, and then you it should be like a, oh, I want to learn this thing by this time, and then like see how it works. And like even if that time passes, you want to be like, oh, I want to learn this thing. So what are you asking? How do you like prioritize things now and difference from back when you were in oh dude, like 90? Listen. It's been only, I graduated in 2024. It's been 2 years. Wow, it's been 2 years since I graduated. That's insane. Okay. Other than me feeling like an unk, dude, honestly, there's been a much big like a much big. That's not in English, but there's been a huge difference in how I did not make a schedule at all in college, like zero. I was just like rolling. Um, so I did not make a schedule in college. I was just like, oh, exam, work. I used to do video editing back in college for like startups. So I would just go to college, come back, work. The day before exams, I would pull an all-nighter and like study. And that just like kind of went on a loop. And until I actually decided to pick up programming in third year, that's when I still didn't make a schedule back then. I was just like, I need to learn this by the end of fourth year. I was not going to go for placements either way. And I knew because I was not going to go for placements, I knew it's much more hard to go the off-campus route. So I had to be really good at like whatever I'm doing in programming. So that after all of that, I still did not make a schedule until basically someone told me that you should probably make a schedule. It's good for you, blah blah blah, this and that. Like really good advice on like, and they told me like why you should make a schedule, not just like make a schedule, but like really why you need to make a schedule. And after I exited college, then I started. So this is my small little notebook, pocket notebook that I have. I usually write down what I have to do in the day or like around this time to this time, what all things I need to get done. I usually write that down. And so I divide it per day, per week, and then per month. Like, and it's very goal oriented. It's not like it has to be done. It's like, okay, this month I need to get these things done. From because I have to get these things done in this month, I will divide that into the week, and then from that week I will make my daily schedule. So it's like a rough plan. It's not like minute to minute. Sometimes it's minute to minute, but like not always. So from college, no schedule. Now I basically actively like maintain a schedule. Not all days I'll write it down. Some days I'll just like not do it, but more often than not, I'm doing it than I'm not. And the benefit of a schedule is I can prioritize things because I'm purposely making a schedule, right? So dude, I love this question by the way because there's so much. I like. I keep usually when it's at night, I'll sometimes just be like, I have so many things to do. How do I how do I do everything? Then I'll pull up Claude and be like time management techniques, or I want to do these things. What's a good time schedule for this? Like just randomly to get ideas, but like none of it works out. I think like there's no perfect plan for it. Like there's no perfect plan or there's no perfect schedule. There's no such thing as that. Like you just kind of, even if you're imperfect at making a schedule and following it, the fact that you're doing it means that you'll get enough done. To others it might feel like, oh wow, he's actually like or he or she is probably like, okay, they're sorted. But then for you it's like, I have so many things, like I'm still feeling right now, I have so many things to get done. Just open source work, personal projects that are there, just personal life stuff that is there. I actually have a life other than programming, which is crazy to hear. And work has been very hectic this week in general, and since I joined basically work has been very hectic since I joined. So, but that also is like in phases. Some weeks will be very hectic. Some weeks will be a bit more chill, so I can actually learn stuff. And I'm very lucky in the sense right now because the work, like most, let's say around 40% of my work, I actually have to learn new stuff and then implement it. So that's a benefit to me because then when I get to learn, I like to go deep and like whatever thing I'm learning, I like to go deep on that. So when I go deep on it, I can actually ask good questions to my team also that, okay, this is what I found out. What all in my implementation, what all do I have to take care of, and these things. So even they're like, oh, okay, we can put this, we can put that. So that's like a benefit for me. I am pretty lucky for that. So yeah, like okay, so I didn't. I think I'm like just in general going on the question of prioritization. Basically, like some of it will, the priority, like for me work will come first. I can't really prioritize a side project over work, so work is first. After work it's like, okay, do I either do OSS like open source stuff or personal project stuff? This usually can interchange a bit and I don't really put it any different. Then yeah, I mean, like usually in a month I see what all I have to do, and then based on that, like I just see what feels right in the week or in the day. That's it. There's no like perfect schedule in that. Did you get the work like in fourth year off campus or after graduation, and was it super fun? My first job, uh, so I got my first job like just at the end of fourth year, like a month before graduation probably. But okay, again before that, like I was video editing for like 2 years in my first 2 years in college. So I worked for a few companies then. In third year, I left video editing and I was like, I need to get up programming because of whatever reasons. And then by the fourth year, like just like the last month of graduation, I got my first job, which was at an agency and it did not pay much to be honest. So worked for there for about a year, and that was also remote. So was it fun initially? Yeah. So okay, here's the thing. Programming in general is super fun for me, and I really just love programming. But then sometimes you might not like programming that you have to do for work, or even some no, like programming in general. You can love something and still be annoyed by it. You know, people mentioned, but you can love something and still be annoyed by it, right? Like the point of coming back to it is how okay, like even if you're having the worst day, would you still come back to this, or like you won't leave it basically on your worst day ever. So programming like that is that for me. So in general, it is super fun. But my first job, it came to the point where I was like, this is not like I'm having to worry about things which I shouldn't be worrying about, and because like it was an agency, there was a lot of hacks that we basically took, or like a lot of good decisions which we should have taken, which were not being taken based on like what tools we should use, what infra we should use, and like how much if we should spend or not and whatnot. So because like there were so many unnecessary restraints, it was it and like after an year, it came to a situation where I was like, I was happy just to work somewhere. To now, I was like, I think we need to like step up our game. So because of those constraints, I was also like feeling I was not being a like you know restraints is what makes you a good engineer, but then those restraints should be reasonable restraints in some sense. Like you need to spend something, not spend a lot, but you need to spend something rather than spending nothing. You know what I mean? Like if you can spend something, that's a good enough restraint. So don't spend too much, spend some amount. But if you're fixated on using free stuff, there's not much wiggle room for you, right? So that became annoying. So I left that job, and then uh, I got the job I'm currently working at, and that current job has been super fun. It's been more than a year now, and dude, I love it. Like, I mean, amazing. I think, and here, this is the thing that people there's a very binary kind of thinking of like, oh, startup versus MNC when you're in your teens or whatever, 20s or whatever, and it's like that's a very general statistic, which obviously like it's no one's gonna like go into the details and be like, oh no, but this or that, but what a nuance and whatnot. So in general, like there's the whole thing of startup versus MNC. But the thing is, if you as an individual are just like someone who's going to keep learning stuff, then like it doesn't really matter if you're at a startup or an MNC, right? Sure, the fast pacedness of like things will change and this and that, but at your core, take two people who are genuinely curious. You put them both, like put one in startup, put one in MNC. I don't think there's going to be much difference other than in terms of knowledge and like programming. If the person who's working at a startup, they do a good job. Startup does a good job. They get like ESOPs and all vested. They make more money compared to the one working in an MNC. So that all is there. But purely in terms of knowledge and just programming, I don't think there's going to be much difference, provided like both the people are curious and just like they really enjoy what they're doing. So that's it. And like here's the thing, off campus like basically forces you, or at least it forced me to try and be very good at what I need to do. So like because the thing is that you obviously hear from your seniors or just people in general that on campus is again a lot of the things in the world which like is not based on skill. Like getting a job is not always, more often than not, it's not about skills. If you have decent skills and you're likable and a lot of luck of like having the right connections and all of that, that's what gets your job, right? Skill is like a very small factor to it, and you can always learn skills considering you're someone people want to work with. So if you're likable, like if people want to, not want to, but like when you have people, when you meet them, you're like, "Arey yaar, matlab, what a great guy, what a great girl, whatever." So if you're someone like that, and it's not like you have to vibe with everyone, but as long as people don't dislike you, you know, and you know somewhat decent skills and you're good at them, like obviously you can't just, like not put in effort. So somewhat skills, and then a lot of it is luck and just like connections, which unfortunately is the truth of the world. I also had an ego that I will go against the world to prove that I don't need anything like that. But that's a separate topic. Point is like, uh, yeah, I don't even know I don't know what are we even yapping about. It's always fun talking to sir. Every single time I learn new things about probably everything. Hey, thank you. Same. I honestly, I really enjoy like. I think of all my mutuals, you're like at the top of my list of like people I genuinely enjoy interacting with and talking to. So, that's always a good thing. Also, we've been talking for 15 minutes, man. That's crazy. Yeah. For someone who's tired, 15 minutes of talking is insane. So I'm gonna have chai and rusk because yeah. Oh, the point I was saying. Okay, I forgot the point I was saying. The thing with off campus is like in general, when you are in college, you hear a lot about like, oh, on campus is about luck and this and that, which fair. I mean, world isn't fair, and like what our expectation of fair is probably implanted somewhere earlier in our childhood, or like just by society, or like someone told us and we felt like, oh, this is right. But just because we think something to be a right way doesn't mean it's actually the right way. So because of that, like when someone who might be very skilled but might not be as known or doesn't get the job, but that this, like this person, you're like, oh no, the world is not fair, which it's never fair. Like maybe our definition of fair is wrong, and on a very meta level, there is no fair and unfair. But the whole point of that is also like, uh, you need to be someone who knows stuff. You need to be someone who knows people also, and you need to be someone who's known in general. So that is what will give you opportunities. And the benefit of off campus is that, like for me, it forced me to be really good at what I need to be. That being said, it's not like I like 100% everything in my head, but and this is probably like coming from a place of a little bit of ego also, but like I see the effort I put in for programming. I think like in a 100%, like in a room of 100 people, I think I'm definitely in the top 20, I would say, because there are more insane people that I've met, and a lot of them have a lot of experience also. Like I know someone in the office who has 30 years of experience. 30 years of experience. Was it 30? 30 years of experience. Yeah, I'm not even joking. I was talking to this guy and I was like, and he like our first interaction was like, oh, I worked at this place and I think I've been in tech for around 30 years now. And I was like, huh? Could you repeat that? I'm not 30. You have worked in the tech industry longer than I've been alive. Put that into perspective. So, but he's a very nice, like this specific guy, just like very knowledgeable, obviously. Dude, I like, the thing I had to work with. So, he leads one of the teams, right? And basically, my team had to work with his team or on something. And so, and turns out we were in the same office, and we had like a online call last year somewhere. So when I first met him in office, I was like, "Oh hi, aren't you this person? Like I remember you took a call," and he was like, "Oh, you remember that call? Good memory." And I was like, "I mean, it's just a month ago. I don't think like you need a good memory for that." And then we got to talking like that day, and just got to know each other a bit, this and that. So like as we were talking, he's like, "Oh yeah, I worked here for like this and that," and totally I've been like just working for around 30 years, and I was like, I am a mere child in front of you, wise sage, And dude, here's the thing. Okay, this book, I told this to him also in our first meeting, and I was not glazing him. But if you meet him, you will also glaze him. You know what I mean? This book, which I still have to finish, because I don't know why I'm not finishing this. DDIA, okay? On that online meeting that we had, he basically like explained how one of his things work that we have to consume. And while he was explaining these things, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, I was like, I've read this. I have read this exact thing in the book. And then he's telling me things which like I know I have to read in the future. Like it's still like chapters I've not reached it yet. And he's telling those things and I'm just like, I don't need the book. I can just talk to him. So I told him like when we met in person, I was like, I'm reading this book, DDI. It's basically like for someone who's kind of building up their knowledge. This is something like which is recommended. You probably know of it. And he did not know of it, by the way. And I was like, oh, that's surprising because like whatever you said is like exactly like these are the recommended things in the book also, or like these are the concepts that are mentioned in the book and how to go about it and whatnot. And he's like, and I told him, I like when I was listening to that meeting, I didn't think I need the book at all. And he was really nice about it. But I was like, I'm genuinely being serious right now. Like, can you transfer your knowledge? Okay. And all the other times that I would talk to him, like I would go to him with some doubts about his service. So he would explain me the whole thing. One is like you're explaining something to someone who's consuming your service of like, oh yeah, you can use this endpoint, you can use that endpoint, you can send this, you can send that. But no, no, no. He will tell me how he's making the thing internally also. Of like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that, so that's why this is happening, that's why that is happening. And I'm just like, thank you. Can you like never stop talking? So, dude, swear. I mean, also he has a voice which like people want to listen to. It's very like that deep gravitas kind of voice, and I whenever I listen to it, I'm just like, please don't stop talking, just keep continuing talking. So yeah, and he also like works like he knows a lot about K6 in general. So him and I had usually like we've had some talks about K6 in general and what they're doing. So because I get to work on K6, that's why I wanted, and I in general wanted to contribute to dev tools like that I use. So turns out K6 was like the ideal thing because like I'm using K6 in my workflow like basically every day. So not like I'm not using K6 itself every day, but I've gone through the docs and because we had to implement like it's all running in a pipeline. So now that I don't have to change anything on that end, but I know decent stuff like about K6 that I can make a contribution. So oh oh. Also, that is only one contribution. It's a very simple contribution to be honest. It's a small refactor. So we will step up our game, nice and steady. Oh my god, bro. But wow. Daksh, what's up with you? How's life? How's college? Which year are you in right now? Also, I will. Oh, also, I found that tweet. Um, can I share my screen on this? Usually, I don't share my screen on like for my social media profiles because just I don't really trust myself to be honest. But I think this tweet is fine. Hopefully, nothing is leaked. Um, this was back in May. Oh, May, June, July. Not bad. It's been 2 months, dude. Has it been exactly 2 months? Oh, so close. Seemed like a good time to step. Okay, listen, I'm very tired. Okay, we're not gonna judge my reading skills right now. Seemed like a good time to step back a little, learn a couple of new things. Blah blah blah. I've been on a spree of shipping side project. Blah blah blah. Currently, I've got more on the backlog. Blah blah. Implementing papers in Go and say, oh yeah, this is something I do want to do actually. AI experiments. I'm actually doing that right now. So, oh my god, Hemant, what is Hemant? What is up, AI experiments. This is something I have been trying actually. I don't know how much I can share, which I don't think it's that complex or like that secretive. It's a very simple thing. I think I can share it. Anyway, make minimal prototypes of a DB framework. Oh yeah, I do have this. Start by making simple dev tools and experiment knowledge on them. Nice. I think Go and think where I can go back to understanding algorithms, more focus on open source because I generally love. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, I think we're on the right track. Honestly, I think AI experiments is happening. Open source is also happening. A PR to K6, I think, is a win. What else is left? I mean, yeah, this stuff like sure. Yeah, we need to work on that. So nice and steady. Oh, dude, this is not the layout I want, brother. This is the layout I want. Thank you. Oh man, dude, I've also stopped putting. Oh, that's the chai without the sugar has become more bearable. I almost like it now. Almost. Like, I'm not there yet. Almost. Like some days I'll actually enjoy it and I'll be like, damn, not bad. And I realize the secret, if you will, is to not put too much chai patti. It's like you just put like decent enough for like because if you put too much, it'll become too bitter. And I think that's what I was doing because in general I put a bit more because I was like, okay, sugar would kind of balance this out. But now I'm putting it a bit less because I'm not putting sugar anymore, and I'm like, oh, not bad. I think not bad at all. Uh, Doing well, I would say academically in third year. Oh, you're only third year, damn. Although really bad luck and skill issue in live coding rounds, that's okay. Looking for internships, but want to finish some projects I have in mind, and yeah, hey, not bad. Dude, third year, you have time. I started programming in third year, so Not okay. Started programming is wrong, but like I got serious about programming in third year. But live coding rounds, dude. Very honestly, I have not done a. Oh no, I did do a live coding round. Yeah, but I have not done a DSA live coding round ever. That is crazy to think, actually. Like not yet, at least. I don't know if tomorrow I work at a new place, maybe then like they'll do it. But like up until now, I have not had a live DSA coding round. I've had like JavaScript stuff that I have been asked, MongoDB stuff that I've been asked, Redis and this and that, a little bit of that. But like DSA, no. And honestly, I don't think I could do DSA. I think like if I had a DSA round right now, I would fail so miserably. Like it's not even funny. It's sad. But I don't get to use DSA much in my work also. So like I think that's fine. Could I use DSA in my work? I don't think so. Not really. Unless I really go out of the way and be like, oh no, we can. Maybe. I told you it's fun. I do it this way: boil water, add ginger. Oh, dude, I'm a bit lazy with like adding ginger right now, but it's fine. Let it boil and then add chai. Oh, let it boil and then milk and let it boil. Oh, okay. I'll try that actually. Chai patti boil, then milk. Let it boil for a while and then perfect. Okay, I will try. Thank you. I will try this. मेरे 4 महीने remaining और कुछ नहीं किया अभी तक. Oh, Hemant, are you still in college? I highly doubt that. I thought you had graduated for like 5 years. My issue is I applied for full stack roles, but both the final interviews turned out to be front end dominated roles, so I got chopped. Oh, dude, front end in the age of AI. Oh, masters. Fair, fair, fair. My bad, my bad. I forgot. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure मेरे से थोड़ा ज़्यादा बुढ़ा था. Like at least 1 year. So, man, front end interview round questions. But what kind of questions are they asking? Because like what other than state management, someone will ask redux if they are a bit mentally insane. I actually was asked redux in an interview and I was like, who uses redux, bro? Like, are you kidding me? Zoostart. Yes, redux. But redux does have a nice architecture. um, I will say that. So I have also forgotten how redux has worked in a long time. Like I've not, dude, I have not done react in so long and I think I've never been happier. Like it's not even funny how long I've not done react. And if I have to have front end coded, I'll just give it to Claude. I'll be like, can you do this? This is disgusting. I'm not gonna touch it. Man, crazy. I do miss react a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like just small bit. Like I like the state management part of it, but not the tailwind part of it or like design part of it. Is there a way to bypass DSA? It's hectic. You're asking the wrong guy. I think again, I got very lucky with me not being asked DSA. But if I was in college and in general I was applying, especially right now, then I would probably like I would do it very like depressingly, but I would still like enough DSA that I can pass interview questions. I don't know about doing hard questions and whatnot, but like at least medium questions I should be able to do. So that's what I would aim for if I was in college. In though, sorry. So here's the thing: we have summer interns that joined like last month, and July end. Sorry, last to last month. Wow, it's been almost like July end. Summer internship is for 2 months, and then a normal internship is for 6 months. After the normal internship, you basically get a PPO. So then those interns join like full time. But then summer intern like is comes for 2 months. If I think the company likes their work, then they're also invited for the 6 month thing, which is like next year. But this 2 month thing basically like these guys are in third years and we usually sit uh, like in the office where I sit, like all of us basically sit together inside one common area. So recently the interns have been sitting just like where I sit. So sometimes like I think some discussion we had and I was like, how is it with like because when I finished college, AI was just like you would talk to Chat GPT, copy from there, paste it in your code editor if you like it. and now it's like it's in your ID itself. And like Cursor, I think came out for a bit, but that was when I graduated of college, which it's been a long time, though. Um, and now, considering like you have all these coding agents and harnesses and loops, have you heard of loop engineering? You wow, I'm a loop engineer. Oh man, I can't even like chai is too good. I can't even act. But I was asking them like, how do you guys feel? Because like if I was in college right now and I can see all this coding stuff coming up, I would be very nervous. I would be very anxious. So I was like, how are you guys dealing with it? And funnily enough, we were talking about AI, and I was like complaining about AI. I was like, it's so bad, it's horrible, like, oh. And they were like, no, bro, it's AI is good, bro. And I was like, I'm not saying it's bad in the sense like it does a bad job, which sometimes it does a bad job, but like in people hype it too much than more than its ability, I think. And the problem with that is like that plus that's a whole separate conversation. But basically, I was telling them like how I use AI right now. Like this is what's suiting me, where I'm using it in a read-only manner more than a write-only manner, or like read-write manner, where I'm like, I'll write the code, I'll get it to verify, or like just brainstorm stuff with it. Some things if I find really boring or if I don't have time for and I don't really care about, that I'll give to the AI. I'm like, listen, this I've done over here before. Do the same thing for these things. I use it that way. So one of them was basically telling me that right now, before coding was like still something that you could stand out on, but now that models and AI is here in general, that has also been gone. So the only mode for big companies, or like the only differentiator for big companies, is DSA. And my argument is like, and model can do DSA better any day. So what's the point of that also? But then the thing is, what other metric do you have for a big company who's going to hire like 50 to 100 kids, or like even dude, even hiring 10 people is very, like, I can't imagine hiring 10 people because like it would drain so much energy. I did watch a few interviews, which like not interviews, sorry. I don't know if you know Tej and Began podcast. It's like a fun, nice little, just general like podcast if you want to listen to. So in one of their things, it was like I think Began's one of the older jobs that Began did. The interviewer, what he does is he gets an IKEA chair, and you have to build out the IKEA chair like with the person who's supposed to take your interview, which gives you a like basically that's what you're going to do at work, right? You're going to build stuff together. So it's like a small glimpse into okay, if this interview is nice and I like building this chair with you, then probably like we're a good fit, and then whatever. So I think that was interesting. But then for an MNC to do that in India, for places like, come on, bro, like let's be serious. It's funny. I started with Recoil, then Zoostand. Also, it's Zoostand by the way, not Zustand, but I like saying Zustand. So, and over the past couple of months, I've been working with Fast. Oh, dude, Fastify is so good. And interview kind of came at a really bad time, like in between exams and React interviews. Yeah, that. चलो भाई have fun Discord पर मिलते हैं project work pending है so alright bye bye have fun also wait no not this thing where did that go nah, it's fine whatever. I think we'll start. What is the time? Damn, half an hour of yapping, dude, crazy. I think we'll just finish a bit of chai and then start with this thing. I don't even remember what I was doing last time. Yeah, we did this get signature thing. I think we were understanding signatures in general. Like I've added the signature and what was the signature for? Yeah, this is what we did, right? Component array. I think. Oh, we were understanding the component array thing. Well, I don't remember that to be honest. Do I even have it here? Component. Oh, I don't have it here. Oh, okay. I was doing the component array thing. Oh, yeah, this is what we were understanding, no? To be honest, I forgot this. Oh, I kind of remember it. Yes, kind of remember it, but we'll go through this again because I have to code this out. So I would like to understand it actually. So we'll go through it again. Good place. Good place to start. man. Also, I'm apparently working with log analytics for a bit now, and I think, and also I did. Oh, I was talking about AI service also, right? First time service show. What? No, but okay, interesting. Okay, anyway, I'll work message. I will handle that tomorrow. So that's something. Anyway, so while we have half a cup of chai left, I did get to work more with Azure portal, basically like AWS Azure, but like Azure Microsoft. Not bad. I think like in general cloud stuff, I'm now getting the hang of. Uh, and it's like not hard at all. It's very simple. Well, the thing with Azure is they make a few things complex, and there's a lot of services I have not really like explored. But the things I have, not bad at all. I'm working with log analytics right now, where I'm integrating it like into one of our things. And then I'm okay. Basically, like we have to kind of give like a monthly summary to basically you have to give like a monthly summary. Like we get a document with like this is the work we did in a month. It's part of like something, something, blah blah blah. And I don't even know how I was doing this before, but I was like, I think I was just manually doing it. I was like, oh yeah, this, that. And then as a joke, so I'm working as a contractor to another company. So my original company, we had like a presentation of like what you can do with AI. Like different teams. We were split into different teams, mainly based on location. And then we were like, oh, what can we do with AI? And we came up with the most weirdest ideas initially. Then we came to this thing of like, oh yeah, I think a sprint, like a monthly sprint review summarizer would be nice, right? And it was more like realistic and something you can like actually like see a demo of very quickly. So that was the idea, and then that became into like, oh, once now you have that, that can be into this, it can be done into this, that, this, blah blah blah, whatever. uh, and this is the problem I think with ideas also, like when you start off on something which is approachable, you very easily start a tangent into something which is like a month later or 5 months later or like a year later. So a lot of time was wasted into that, and also time was just we were not getting time to work on this because like this is like side thing after work, right? And work itself takes so much time, then like you're very tired by the time you cut back. So over the last 2 months, whatever time I've been getting, I was like, you know what, let's try this. Let's actually make this. Basically, like, and it's very simple. You basically like get all the work items that you're worked upon from your task board or whatever. Like every company has something which tracks your task, right? So get the work items from there. Then you just put them in a text format, give it to an LLM saying that, listen, give me a work overview of the month of these work items. It gives you that, and like you fill that in the document. So I first made this as a CLI tool or like a small script which just puts it to the console. And then I showed it to my senior dev. And turns out he had built a VS Code extension which uses the summaries done by the Copilot chat, uh, which is something you can access when you're making an extension. So I showed my thing to him, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you integrate this into the extension itself instead of like what's happening right now?" And I was like, "Oh, but don't we already have like, isn't it already using Copilot chat? What's the difference between this and that?" So turns out massive difference, and this approach was much better because the Copilot chat is just garbage, to be honest. And then this summary service that we made, it's a separate service which is deployed as an app service on Azure. So I got to do that. I've never done that. I got to do that. I got the URL and whatnot. So that is now basically like that's now integrated into the extension, and it's working pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So I think we'll share it with like the team soon. And because now it's something more realistic, now we can actually like approach those things which were seeming long term, because that's like, oh, now you just have to do this, that, this, and that. So yeah, got to do that also. Pretty fun. And what else do I have in mind? Yeah. I don't know, like, if any of you are still here, but insane sideway, dude. It's a very here's the thing, no, it's a very simple thing to do. Like now when I look back, I genuinely wonder why it took so much time, because this is something we decided to do in January. It's been more than half a year, but now we're implementing this. And to be fair, we had like a lot of discussions where the problem with, how like too many chefs spoil the broth. Similarly, too many engineers over engineer on an idea. And it's like everyone's thinking, oh, we can do this, that, and everyone has like their own implementation in its head. And I was like, and this is where Mitchell Hashimoto's blog also like really helped. Where is the I'll pull up the blog. Brother Mitchell H. dot com that .com/writing. Was it writing or writings? Brother, do not give out on me. Oh, let's go. Where is that one? My approach to building large technical projects. So I think the first thing itself is like early results. Yeah. So Oliver tends to not be not what Oliver. I need to like get my head together. Early work tends to not be very visible, and that makes seeing tangible results seem difficult. For example, if I choose to work on BT, parsing for my terminal, he's working on Ghostly, by the way, so all this parsing and all is for that. I can't see it work without also hooking up a UI of some sort. Or for some other projects, if I choose to work on a database schema and minimal API, I similarly can't see that work without writing a client along with a CLI or a GUI. So all this is there, but where is the thing? Yeah, my goal with the early sub projects isn't to build a finished sub component. It is to build a good enough sub component so that I can move on to the next thing on the path to a demo. So he basically says like a demo is something that is very important when you're building out something, and like when you can see something yourself and you can show it to other people, like this is what I'm working on, it automatically gets you to work on it more, right? And this is something like it's a very simple line, and it's also very obvious when you like think about it. But to actually like implement it with a lot of engineers, it's very like why weren't we doing this before? So even for this, I was like, you know what? Let's not make anything fancy like what we were planning. Let's start with a small script. It just makes the API call. It fetches the work items, makes the API call, gives it to the result in the console. And once like I was able to do that. So the good enough part is that I have made the API call, and then I'm able to like show the result somewhere. Now that same code logic is not going to change. And on top of this, now I basically give it a parameter saying that okay, I want it as a server, I want it as like just run it as a one-time script. And now because of that, now that it has the implementation of a server, I could also deploy it on Azure. And that's it. So we're going to share it with our team, and let's see if people use it or not. And it's something like, and because of this, I'm also thinking to make my own AI transcriptor minutes of meeting thing. But I think we already have like a meeting bot that does that, so I'm not sure like if that's worth it. But my I also okay, okay. This is something I'm yet to start with, or like I have to start writing the code for it at least. Where is it? And this is for the like company like where the work is happening. Oh, brother. Okay. Anyway, so here's the thing: we have a lot of we have a any company, especially MNCs, have monorepos, right? The problem with a monorepo, or like the thing of a monorepo, is sometimes I forget how to type. Actually, yeah, lib1. Why is there an underscore? Lib2, lib3. You know, dot libn. There's a lot of libraries, and then I was a disciple of those nodes. Oh yeah, same. Okay. In a monorepo, there's multiple libraries. Like all of this exists under the libs folder that is there. Now the problem is sometimes when you get a bug, it's usually from one of these libraries. That's also like incorrect to say, but you could say more or less that if one of the main like the law, what am I even saying? if the bug is related to some logic, it's probably belonging to the library. Now, I was thinking for all your P3, what is happening? Why am I just an idiot? I was thinking all your P3 and P4 bugs, P3 and P4 are priority by the way. Thanks to Agile, you have priority for bugs also. So P1, P0 is like, holy shit, this needs to be sorted right now. Like, it doesn't matter you're sleeping, awake, not at home, wherever. This needs to be sorted right now. P1 is like, oh, this is like, you need to work on this right now. It's not as bad as P0. It's like, but you still need to work on it right now. Like, drop everything else. This is your main priority. P2 is like, yeah, this is like, you need to work on this ideally within a day or two. Two is also like too much, but like within a day, ideally it should be solved. P3, P4 is like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. It's like a week max, max. More than that, it's just like, why is this bug for so long? And that too depends front end, back end, and whatnot. Anyway, so I was like, and this idea also came from a frustration I was having that considering we have so much AI right now, how many people are actually saving their time? Like I'm talking to developers, and basically all of them are either saying that, oh, it's very good, AI is great, which is good. And some of them are saying that, oh, I'm trying to explain this thing to it, or like I'm trying to get it to do this thing, but it's not able to do it. The context is too much, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whichever side you're on, how much time are you actually saving? Are you even saving any time compared to like before? And in some sense you are, because like for example I can just go to Claude and ask it some about ECS itself, which I did the other day, and it gave me like a list of resources. So that is great. I'm actually like, in terms of learning things and getting resources, that part is like become faster because I don't have to go through the internet and whatnot. But actually learning stuff, that will take time. But in terms of like actual work, I was like, how many of us are actually saving time? Because I don't think that's happening. So there are two things to it. I think because AI in some sense helps us move faster, the number of things we've taken up is more than what we would normally take up. So it's not like, sure, we are saving time, but in that same time, we're still getting more work. And I was like, we need some things which only AI needs to do, which is not at a priority for humans to look at. So what I'm trying to make, as per your experience, would you say it's about only to give context to AI these days, or do people actually architect things and give them tasks specifically? It depends on the person. Like even if you see Mitchell's blog, he has a blog about how he uses AI. Um, where is this? My AI adoption journey. This is basically, where is it? Always have an agent running. Yeah, no, deep. Yeah. Uh, End of day agents. Okay. To try to find some efficiency, I next started up a new pattern, block out the last 30 minutes every day. Oh wait, this is like one of the things, right? Where's the deep thinking part? Yeah. More specifically, I would start each day by taking the results of my prior night's triage agents, filter them manually to find the issues that an agent will almost certainly solve well, and then keep going in the background. Meanwhile, I was watching videos. I was in my own normal pre-AI deep thinking mode, working on something that I wanted to work on and had to work on. So this is what Mitchell does. Right now, I am using it in a way where I actually like writing the code also. When people say coding is a solved problem, you don't have to write code anymore. I'm like, firstly, coding is not a solved problem. If it was a solved problem, my take is that there would be no new bugs that would pop up. But I think there are more bugs popping up. So coding is not a solved problem. But other than that, also considering I am not at the same level of Mitchell in terms of knowledge and experience and whatever, right? So for me to still learn things and be good at programming, because your AI agent will only be, it's not technically correct to say this, but anytime you prompt something to the LLM, your prompt is only as good as your experience and expertise. So the better you are, the better prompt and more specific you can be, and the better the agent will probably perform also. Um, so and in general, like DHH, like Prime made a video on what something that DHH said. which is that it's more fun to be competent. And it's a simple English sentence, right? It's not like he owns the saying. But just in general, I think humans appreciate skill somewhere like at our core. Because when you see someone just perform, like, even if you have no idea about art, let's say, but you see a good painting, you go to an art museum, even if you don't understand anything, you're like, hey, I actually like this. Like, I can't imagine someone painted this because I could not do it. And even if you could do it, it makes you appreciate it more. So imagine tomorrow you're making a compiler, you're like, holy shit, like, we're using compilers every day. I can make the compiler and I can understand how it works, but then these compilers have been going on for years. So people who are building those compilers for years have a certain expertise which people who are not working at compilers every day don't have, right? So Mitchell does this, and what I'm trying out right now is basically I'll imagine like 80% of my work read only, like, okay, if I have to write code versus do some reading brainstorming task, 80% of the reading stuff I'll do it with AI, 20% of the writing stuff I'll give it to AI. No, what am I even saying, dude? I hope I'm making sense, but okay, if let's say I'm using out of 100 that I'm using AI, 80% of it is for read only tasks, 20% is for write only tasks. So that is how I'm using it. And the context thing comes in play because, like, Mitchell is probably giving it context for this thing, right? And the thing about context also is like, if like this prior night's triage agents is the same context, you can just do it. Filter them manually to find the issues that an agent will almost certainly solve. It's like, oh, okay, for this specific thing, you would probably want to describe the issue more so that the agent can understand better. So probably like a context would come in there. And on this thing, he's probably architecting something himself. On my thing, I'll brainstorm with LLM, like the AI, to like kind of, okay, this is the approach, these are the things, what are my options over here? And then when I'm actually implementing it, I'll be like, this is just me. And after I've implemented it, I'll be like, hey, just confirm the workflow, everything is good and whatnot. Do a small code review of this. So that's what I usually that's what I'm doing right now. And like I have seen better results with me being in the code more than being away from code, because like if I'm not in the code, firstly I'm able to make changes much faster because I'm actually coding in my code base every day. I'm able this happened very recently, like a month ago or something at work, where I was on a call with one of my teammates and they were asking like if they wanted to do this change and if it's a good change. And instinctively I was just like, oh no, this is not a good change. And as soon as I said that, I was like, oh shit, wait, I've never thought about like someone asking me if a change is good and me instinctively knowing like, okay, this is a bad change because of XYZ reasons. It happened so like instinctively. I was like, oh, this is what happens when you're in the code base. You can say what decisions are right and wrong rather than just like, hey, do this XYZ, brr, accept, allow all, no permission, YOLO mode, So because that gave me an insight, I was like, I need to be in the code in general. And it's become such a hot take of like, you need to read the code. And if you don't want to do it, that's your thing. It's not like a bad thing. But then for someone who wants to be in the code, just like let them enjoy, like eventually. And skill atrophy is such a huge dude. What is that blog? AI agent skill atrophy. There was something about like, there was a very nice blog. No, dude, I can't. Theo had made a video on it, and I remember he made a video on some blog about someone who basically said that there is no doubt that for someone who's using AI too much, their skills are atrophying. Like if you're like use AI, let's say you learn something right now, you use AI for like 2 months on that thing. When you come back to it, you're gonna be like, wait, I need the AI to do something. Like I'm not able to write anything right now. So that is happening, and I don't want to be that. So definitely makes sense. Super thanks for this blog. Really dude, Mitchell Hashimoto's blogs are so good. Like they're so good. In fact, it was because of his blog that I was able to make a PR to K6 because of this one. Where is it? Contributing to complex projects. I I read this and I made a video on this also. It's on my channel, by the way. But like because I read this, then only was I able to like even get into analytics and like imagine, like even think of opening a PR on a Grafana repository. That was something that I work on, and that all the change I made, it's in the release. Like they made a release for it, and like my change is there in that release. So like that is something that's happening. Dude, we're just yapping, and I think I'm enjoying this. I don't think we need to code today. No, we're gonna code some stuff. At least like the component array thing, we'll probably code that. I'm also just drink. I've never. This is the why I don't like drinking chai very slowly because then like I just keep talking. Mm. So Mitchell has good blog, and like again, this thing with AI is also like depends on how you want to use it, and like because I still have a lot to learn. Like I'm using it very like, okay, this is something I want to understand. Give me the resources for this, and then once I read through the resources, I would be like, if something I did this with when I was reading up on log analytics also for work, where I'm going through the Microsoft documentation and I'll highlight something and I'll give it to Claude saying that okay, I didn't really understand this, simplify this for me, and then it'll like tell me like, oh, this is how it is, this is that, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So like that very much helps. And also, not to mention, I have gotten much better at reading documentation now. Like it's become such a habit of like, oh, I need to learn this thing. Where's the documentation for it? And I'll go through the documentation. I'll read it. So like it's been like documentation reading has become very fun. Fees for me, I would say so much new stuff. Oh man. Oh, I was talking about this thing, right? So this is what I want to try. I recently. Oh, I'll show you another thing I tried. Was it over here? No, no, no. Repos coordinate. Oh, okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Go run main.go. Go run main.go. Okay. Okay. Oh, so wait. Do we have a test program? Okay. Remove fizzbuzz. Okay. And I'll also open secret file. What animal is the most disagreeable because it always says nine? Horse, right? So actually, let's not remove fizzbuzz. Git stash. Actually, let's remove fizzbuzz. It's fine. Go run main.go. Okay, Daksh, are you ready? I just made this for fun because like I'm okay. Part of this thing I'm gonna explain. As a precursor to this, I was just like, let's make an AI agent for fun from scratch. So now that I know how to kind of roughly go about it, I'm going to make an AI agent for work, which is I'll explain this after I show this to you. But hey, dude, I like typing like accurately. Hey, can you make a fizzbuzz file in JS which goes up to 15? Are you ready? Oh, what? Are you kidding me? How do I not have? How? What? Dude, I have the NV key. Are you kidding me? Oh, I know what I have to do. I know. Okay, wait. I need to stop sharing my screen for this. 1 second. I know. I'm an idiot. That's what I am. 1 second. 1 second. I know. I know what it is. I 100% know what it is. Okay. Okay. Are we ready? I think we're ready. Okay. Make a fix. Oh, dude, I'm so bad at typing. This is what happens when you don't type on your personal computer for like a long time. Make a Fizzbuzz program in JS up till the number 15. Are you ready, Daksh? Claude says I'll create a Fizzbuzz program up to JavaScript. Edit file tool. It is writing the file. Boom. Okay. 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 It did. This is the output it's gonna give. But edit file. Edit file. I've given it the tool to write a file, like edit a file to the file system. Perfect. I've created a Fizzbuzz program to do. Here's what it does. Okay. Now, if I go here, oh my god, repo, what do I call it? Coordinate, right? Node, Fizzbuzz, boom. Look at that. It made a right program. Not just that. Sorry. Can you tell me what is happening in at main.go? I have a banger gadget, but oh, dude. Read file tool mentioned. Is it reading the file? Is it? Did I do? Oh, okay. That's. I was like, is it like not gonna do it? So yeah, this is a coordinate agent system that allows an AI to interact with the file system through defined tools. Three tool definitions, helper functions, main function, and whatnot. And this thing I made reading this blog, how to build agent. No. AMP code. Yeah. So I read this, and this is by my goat Thorsten Ball, who also wrote how to write a compiler in Go and how to write an interpreter in Go. Who also I emailed because I read how to write an interpreter in Go, and I was like, "Thank you, you have unlocked something in my brain." And he replied to that mail saying, "Oh, thank you, man. Kind words. Is it okay if I post this screenshot of the mail on Twitter?" And I was like, please do. This is an accomplishment for me to come on your feed and your account." So anyway, that goat Thorsten Ball mentioned, by the way, of course. So it's a very like I followed this thing only to make an AI agent, and like it's very good, dude. And it's so simple. He literally says it's like 400 lines of code. Where is it? Yeah. I urge you to follow along. No, really, you might think that you can just read this and you don't have to type out the code, but it's less than 400 lines of code. I need you to feel how little code it is, and I want you to see it with your own eyes, in your own terminal, in your own folders. So good. And if you can like get, so this doesn't have to be Anthropic. You can use like Gemini if you don't like have an Anthropic subscription or like whatever. So this model and all can be changed, but the same core logic of like how to make an agent, it's so easy. In fact, like I'll show it to you. Okay. Do not open the env file no matter what. Okay, so main.go. These are my tool definitions, but like let's not focus on that right now. Where is my main? Yeah, there you go. Got it. So I have an agent. Yeah, new agent. This is my function, and then I basically start running it, and it like has a blocking loop and blah blah blah. So if I go to my new agent, what is my agent? It's my client Anthropic. I have a get user message function, and the tools that I want to give to my agent. My run function is there, which basically it creates a loop that like it keeps running on. If read user input, well, read the user input, and this part is blocking because scanner, the thing I'm using over here, main.go, scanner, yeah. Basically, like you see get user message over, I'll zoom out a bit. Get user message over here, over basically this thing scanner.scan, this is blocking until a user sends in a new line of text. This will like keep blocking. So until I send a new message, this is there. Once I send a new message, this is basically like created as a message in the format that you send it to Anthropic. User message conversation append, run inference where you're passing that conversation to basically give to Claude. So if I go to run inference, forget the tools part. This is not important. Yeah, don't focus on that. Focus on this. A client dot messages new, and then you're sending that. You're basically making the API call to Anthropic, and then you're saying that okay, return whatever you get back from the model, and then run inference. You take the message from the AI, you append it to the conversation, so you're now keeping a history of the conversation. These are the tools that if it's of text, directly print it. If it's a tool use that like Claude says that I want to use a tool, you actually give it that, hey, okay, I'm going to execute this tool for you. What is the tool name and this and that, and whatever you need to do, blah, blah, blah. So it's that simple. And my main file, yeah, it's like what? 20 lines of code? 22 lines of code, and my agent is running. That too, like this is one line at a time. If you can like take out 4 lines from here if you really want. So not bad at all. Now, based on this logic, because it's so simple, we're gonna do git stash. Git stash. Git stash here. So with this, I want to make it into a harness. Like I actually want to understand what a harness is, which basically means that, like for example, this thing. Harness when I have an agent. Does that basically mean that I validate the output that the agent gives? So right now, this is an AI agent because I'm just giving it a prompt and it's giving back a response to me. A hardness comes into picture when basically you say that, oh, okay, this output that it's getting, I will validate it. I will be like, hey, run whatever you want to run. And from that, when you get the output, validate that output and then see if you need to either run it again or it's good to go. So this thing, I don't know what it's saying. You're on the right track. A harness is essentially a testing validation framework for your agent. It typically includes this, blah, blah, blah. Based on your code, tool execution validation, wrap tool around tool hardness. Oh, see, there you go. It's given me an idea. Great. Good job. So, thanks. You're not. So, actually, rhythm for solving an existential crisis. Ah, yeah. Let's not focus on my spelling. That's fine. So, I don't know what's gonna give. Is it actually gonna write it? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Anyway, so okay. Point is the whole context for that is that now that I know how to make an agent, which is like less than 400 lines of code, I was like, since in a monorepo we have so many libraries, and usually when you get a bug, which is like P3, P4, and it belongs to this library, why are developers still solving those bugs? Because these bugs are usually like, oh, 1 line of change, 2 lines of change, max 10 lines of change, and I'm like, this stuff needs to be given to an agent who can solve it. So my thing that I'm going to try to make it work is a scoped agent. I'm calling it a scoped agent. It's not like it's an official thing. I'm going to call it a scoped agent or scoped hardness, whatever you want to like. Which basically is like whenever there is a bug that belongs to a specific library, I'm going to spin up that library's agent and be like, hey, this is the bug. This is your context of the library and how it works. Solve this, open a PR. And this will run somewhere in the cloud. It'll solve the thing, push the code, and then open a PR directly. It's not going to run on like my local laptop. It's going to run in the cloud somewhere and then open a PR directly. So this is something I want to work on. And this is like, nobody's told me to work on this. I'm getting frustrated about people getting bugs and me getting bugs where it's like, why am I solving this? Like a very recent to me, it was something that I've worked on before. And when I got to know the issue, I was like, this is not, I don't have to fix this because I'm just consuming this thing. So I had to reach out to their, like the team who's making this service and be like, hey, this is, my thing is consuming your service. Your service is like giving an inaccurate input. So, can you basically solve that? So what if an agent can like investigate for me and be like, hey, this is the issue. And if it knows the issue, then it can be like, hey, okay, if this is the issue, I know how to solve it. There you go. I've solved it, open a PR for you and done. Now that is something I think that can save developers time. It's like if you're working 8 hours, this can maybe bring it down to 6 hours. And then for those 2 hours, you can either rest, you can watch a show, you can like enjoy life, you can take on more work if you want, because now you're actually saving time intentfully. And like, good job. So we agree that the first library has to be React. Yes, of course. React is a library. No, wait. No, we can't agree because React is a framework, which is, they'll call it a library, but no, it's actually a framework because a library is not meant to change how you write code for your whole project. So it's a framework which is being forcefully called as a library official. if in an interview someone asks you, is React a library or a framework, you say officially it's a library, unofficially it's a framework. And if they ask why, you'll be like, a framework doesn't dictate, it shouldn't dictate your code structure. But the fact that React does that means that it should technically be a framework, even though they're calling themselves a library. I don't know what gibberish this is, but we're rolling with it. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, so this is a fun, like, it's such a fun thing, you know. What? You're a bunch of atoms that can think about being atoms. It's pretty. What? Huh? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what. I'm confused at that, but okay. I will implement this in TypeScript. Oh, this agent thing, dude, 100%. Very much recommended. In fact, this scope agent thing I am making in TypeScript. But this is for my work, like internal tool. That if it works well and if it's like actually working, I will propose it as like a thing that we add in for all the libraries. And the thing is, if I can make the base work very well, and if I can make the context very clear to the agent, I can basically use the same fundamental agent and put it in all these libraries by only changing the context. So I can do something essentially like um, something on the lines of like the same agent is there, but I can give it as a parameter of like, okay, context, um, new agent, or like new agent with this context, and this context will be like const lib one agent is equal to something like this. This is what I have in mind. So lib one, lib two, like this is what I have in mind. Because what can an agent do? Read, write, edit, and I also want to make, like, this is something I have on my to-do list, and my friend actually implemented this. It's so cool. Basically, you give the agent access to the debugger, the actual debugger in VS Code or whatever editor you're using, and you use something called a DAP, a debugger adapter protocol. So you have debuggers, different debuggers. Go has something called Delve. I think GDB is for something. So you have different debuggers which are like programs. Uh, Now, based on the language you are working in, you have debuggers for that. A DAP basically kind of is like a protocol, debugger adapter protocol, which like is like, hey, you have multiple debuggers that are there. I will give you one way to formalize messages from each adapter. It's a JSON RPC thing. So I'm gonna basically formalize a way for all of you to send a message to this protocol. It's like an interface, and then this protocol will talk to the editor, which is like VS Code or whatever, NeoVim if you have a debugger setup there and whatnot. So if my agent can basically read, write my files, access the debugger, then it can basically reproduce the bug and then be like, okay, this is what's happening, this is the error. So this is the solve for it based on like my context. So that is something I have in mind, dude. It's also like 11. We're just yapping at this point for more than an hour. I don't think we're gonna code today. I think we'll code in the weekend. Do I have anything on the weekend? I don't think I have anything on the weekend. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep this a yapping session further. Yapping, tech, yap. Not even like tech tap, tech yapping. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna close the stream in a bit. But yeah, W session that I would say, dude, 100%. I enjoyed, like, I'm surprised I'm able to talk for an hour straight after everything. So it's actually been like a nice stream. So, and I actually, like, there's so many things that I still have on the list, right? Uh, what else need to implement? I have Pipecast, that streaming thing. Once I make Pipecast, I'll start streaming from my own, like from Pipecast itself, and I'll be able to stream on multiple platforms at once. So Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and then the benefit of that is if I can start streaming, I'll encounter bugs and like that will I can keep working on that and not make a new side project. So that is something I'm excited about. I have like it's not progressed in a while, and I also want to make a chess review software for myself. Like one is I want to learn how to do it. There is something called Universal Chess Protocol. I think chess protocol. Um, what was it called? Computer chess protocols. Yeah, universal chess interface. Yeah. So you basically give text commands to Stockfish or a chess engine in general. It calculates and gives you back the result. And I was like, oh, this is how it basically works. So I want to make something like this where I have Stockfish running locally, and I can spin up, like let's say I make a program in Go. I can spin up Stockfish as a sub process, and then my Go program can, like let's say I give in commands to my Go program, and it can like talk to Stockfish through UCI, and then like I will basically make my own chess review software, and I might basically make that like a product, you know. So yeah, I don't know what gibberish this is, but I think this is a good place to stop streaming. I think like yeah, no one's there also right now. So I think we're gonna end the stream. Good, good rant. I would say not bad at all. I'm just gonna chill right now. Just take it easy. I will see you on the weekend. I don't think I have any plans on the weekend. So, and we can continue ECS from there, and hopefully either K6 or Pipecast, because I really want to work on Pipecast again. So anyway, next live stream session. I should also record more videos. I think I'm probably gonna record a few videos for like Azure stuff I'm learning. So yeah, let's see. So anyway, goodbye, bye bye, good night, whatever. See you later. I don't know.